You know, blood's an interesting thing. Blood is a damage assessment. Okay, so that's something that gets lost a lot. Everyone looks at blood like it's the gold standard of everything, and oh my gosh, if you see something in the blood, all right, if there's something wrong in the blood, it's already broken, right? You're never going to see some run and hide early warning system in the blood. It's already broken. Now, it's not a bad test because it's showing you what's broken. In my world, they've already been to someone that's looked at it and said, oh, look, there's an anemia, there's an iron deficiency, there's a thyroid imbalance, pick what you want, right? It's broken. The system's already beyond just, hey, there's some pushing here. I use urine because it's an early warning siren. It's telling you to run because you get rid of urine multiple times a day. Here's another example. Let's look at this. When they did the COVID stuff, what was the stuff they started looking at to see if it was spreading in a community?
Sewer.
There it is. They went to the sewer systems. They started looking at wastewater.
They found more than
because they could literally look at your waste that you're throwing away and say, oh my gosh, we can tell everything that's going on inside you.
Yeah.
Blood you don't throw away. You're not leaking that out. Urine you do. You're throwing it away all the time. It gives you a wonderful assessment of what's going on inside this thing. That's why I run the IUP, right? That's why we do that really cool test. And when you look at it from a big scheme, if I could go through your house and dig through your trash for a month, I would know you better than you probably could ever imagine. I'd know what bills you're paying. I know what foods you eat. I would know your habits. I would know all kinds of stuff about you by looking through your trash. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So when we're looking at what the body is throwing away in its trash, right, I can learn all kinds of stuff going on inside. So it's a great test to do. So again, blood work's a nice test as a damage assessment. It will tell you things that are broken. Where you have to be careful with blood work is when different health groups start saying they take normals and they start squeezing the normal range tighter and tighter and tighter and say, oh, look, see, you're outside of this, you could have a problem. There's a reason normals are established. And I agree, they can change. That does happen. But as a whole, normals are put into place because it's a range of normals.
And that's something that people have to understand. Everybody doesn't fall within those ranges.
It's a range. And so you look at that, and where I see this, supplement companies are renowned for this. They'll go through and they'll take a normal range and they'll squeeze it tighter. A little off this end, a little off here, and if you fall outside, oh, you need our product.
Force that sense of urgency and
That's it. Here comes fear. Here comes fear now and worry. And they'll literally take someone that's in a normal range on every other doctor's test except for theirs. And they go, see, you're outside it. Well, then they pick up a whole lot more people because they're picking up bunches and bunches of normals. And you need our product. It's a big problem I've had with that industry over the years when I've watched how they do tests and things like that. Hair analysis does the same thing, right? And again, it's a semi-waste product. It can do some good things, but it also can lead you down a lot of rabbit holes. And I learned this years ago when I took 3 pieces of hair off somebody's head and got 3 different results when I sent the test in.
What?
I sent them under different names, 3 different reports. And I'm like, well, then that's not accurate. Urine's pretty stable. I mean, you send it in, that's what it is. It's going to show you what the body's holding on to and what it's throwing away. And when I work with patients doing the IUP, one of my big things with it is that the IUP has 2 panels, right? It's 24 or 5 different tests. Each test is a standalone. But read together, it's 2 big panels. One is pathological. You read it just like you do blood work. And if something's wrong, you have to address it immediately because it's broken. There's a hole in the bucket. But the other aspect of the panel, that's the epigenetic portion of it. That's the one saying, how am I adapting to the world I'm being forced to live in? How is my body pushing back? And you can see it as food enters the body, stops off along the way, and exits. That's what you're looking at. But what's interesting about it is I can have 2 people with the exact same IUP in the epigenetic portion. One could feel miserable, one could feel great. So what you're looking at is, well, how's that? Because people are like, well, why doesn't it change like blood work does? Because it's not blood work. It's showing how your body is adapting. And if you're adapting sufficiently, say, for example, it shows the spleen on the IUP, and it does. If that shows up, you may have no side effects whatsoever, or symptoms, right? Your body may be like, look, I'm pushing it, but I've got the resources to keep it going. So when I sit with patients and I explain this, I go through each test individually, and I say, if there's something wrong here, here's what you're looking for. It's going to affect this system and that function and this thing, and you'll see these things show up. And invariably, they all sit there and go, oh my God, I've got this, I've got that, I've got that. Right? So that's how it works. It's a real-time adaptation test, hence epigenetic, above the gene. That's what it means. And we all get this idea, well, my genes, my genes, my genes, my genes. Who told you all that?
Somebody making money.
The people trying to sell you shit.
Hey,
right?
my genes look good.
Good, I get it, brother. But the people trying to sell you stuff, the people trying to give you something, they're the ones that did it. The genome study was funded by a bunch of people wanting to make money off tailored specific drugs. That's why they did it. They didn't do it out of research and humanity. They did it out of, hey, can we make a buck off of you?
Sure.
So when people come to me and they say, well, I got MTHFR gene, who cares? Unless that thing is expressing itself in a major way, who cares? Great, you got 24,999 other genes in there. You don't know what any of those are. They pick one that they can kind of semi-label. And here's the real irony. If you ever want to know how much of a interesting market it all is, globally, MTHFR is like 20% of the Earth's population has that gene. Unless you're in the United States in the last decade. Somehow over 60% of our population does. And I'm like, I wonder what's different about the U.S. because we have people from all over the planet here, different cultures and races and groups. We should have a nice blend. It's hard for me to imagine that we have 3 times the genetic flaw in this one condition that they happen to be able to look for.
We have a healthcare
here,
system that'll pay for it.
and we can pay for it. Like sitting in the clip. So anyway, I hope that helps you. I'm Dr. Sean McCaffrey. I'm the Robin Hood of Healthcare. Like it, thumbs, and share it. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.